thing. But anyway. Oh, what?
We are live.
Oh. Cheers.
Hey, we're already drunk on water.
Drunk on life.
Guess what? The girls are back in town.
The girls are back in town. Let me get this up so I can
happy to be with
talk
you.
to some people. I know. How does it feel to be
in Austin?
In Austin, in the flesh, with your people?
Oh, yeah, I guess this is my people. I was like, Austin is my people?
Wait, Austin's my people? Not necessarily.
So far, I've learned a lot of stuff about Austin from my Uber drivers. Like, so many people are from, like, different countries.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's a real little city.
It's starting to become a melting pot.
Yep.
And my Uber driver today was like, I will not live anywhere else in Texas. He goes, I've been to Houston, I've been to Dallas, I've been to San Antonio. He told me he's been in all these places. He goes, Austin's still the best. And I was like, dang, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, so obviously you guys picked a good place.
We picked a good place. We already partied.
That we did.
A couple times. We've already partied at the cook-off.
That was fun.
And we're not sure what kind of diseases and infections we may have gotten from that. I know we both kind of grayed out a little bit, but I know there was a moment that you were in the trampoline with kids all over you yelling, Jessie, it's chicken poop.
Correct.
It's chicken poop.
Yes.
Is this chicken poop? And I was like, what?
I was pretty drunk at this point. The kids were just looking for an adult to play with them in the trampoline. I would be the first to just jump. Like, I saw the trampoline when we pulled up. I told you that, and I was like, I'm going to jump on that later. And I saw dirt bikes, too, which I really wanted to ride, but thank God I didn't. We were so wasted.
No, people would have died if we did that, but yeah.
So I went in there with the kids, and we're having fun, but then all of a sudden I see, like, piles of shit just bouncing with us.
Right.
And it was a lot.
Sure.
And so all of a sudden I was like, this is chicken shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is chicken poop.
It's chicken poop. Now, but from my perspective, I'm inside. I think I'm talking to somebody at the show, and I just hear Tiffany yelling from the trampoline, it's chicken poop, it's chicken poop, Jessie, it's chicken poop. Come see if this is chicken poop. And I went in there, and in fact, it was.
We were falling all over it. We were falling in it.
My children were jumping on it.
If I was in my normal clothes, I would probably not be in there, but I was in JT's tracksuit.
Yeah, so
I didn't care.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah, I was in their socks. So part of me, I was still kind of grossed out by it though, because I was afraid my face would smash in it because the kids were tackling me.
It's very dangerous.
I probably shouldn't care because I'm a survival instructor, but that still, I was just like, listen, I draw the line at shit.
But we know a lot, like we know that like pregnant ladies can't go into like chicken coops. Like there are these like really horrible things
I would have
that
to look
chickens
up.
And chicken poop can do.
The bacteria.
To people. Bacteria, whatnot.
And the kids were like, it's poop.
It's poop.
I think even Jax was like, Mom, can I still jump? And you were like.
And again, I think I was grayed out a little bit. And I was just like, look, if that's what you want to do, son.
If you want to jump and shit.
Keep going.
Live your life.
Keep going. I'm going to go back in and drink. Mom of the year.
Listen, the kids were all playing together. It was a good time.
It was so fun. They heard a lot of bad words. I remember that being fun when I was around his age of like things that you know you're not supposed to do, but you get to do it that one day.
You felt you were cool.
You were cool. You were with like.
You're like, I'm not allowed to do this, but now I can because I'm at someone else's house.
I know.
And
I found myself a lot like going to Jackson being like, you know, you don't say that, right? Like we don't say that. Mm-hmm. You don't do that.
He heard everything.
And he was just looking around like, I want to be like these people. And I said, no, you don't. We're all pieces of shit, and I don't want you to be that.
You don't want to aspire to be anyone in this group.
I don't want you to be like me. Do you know what I mean? I want you to be better.
Correct, yeah. He's looking at Jack. Jack is shirtless. He's got
I would rather him be like Jack.
And I think if anyone there, I'd be like, be like Jack.
Be like Jack. Respectful. Not of yourself.
Your alcohol out of a measuring cup.
Yep.
But just, yeah.
So you get the right amount.
Respectful dude. Ugh. With stickers on your nips. Just living life.
We love Jack.
I do. I really like Jack.
We really had the best time with him.
He's the best.
He is the best.
I jumped on him for God's sake
was,
and hugged it. Like, I would just jump on him and he'd be like, come here, Tiff. And
yes.
Like, oh.
It really was a fun time, an unexpected fun time. It's going to be a fun little series that we do of cook-offs where I lose, I guess. But you know what?
That was fucking rigged, dude, and you know it.
I do better in the underdog position, though. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. No, yeah. So you're saying
Giorgio.
The pressure?
What did you think I was going to say?
Nothing.
What did you think I was going to say?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, okay. Great,
Obviously, he had something to say when he scoffed laugh.
When I said I do better in the underdog position, he got confused and thought it was something else.
Bottom. Yeah. But still, I will say right now, first of all the judges were wasted for the most part. Dan was just like not even there.
Bye-bye.
He voted Dan. For the wrong one, thinking that it was yours. And
Night, Dan. Yeah.
And they didn't. And the thing is, they didn't have any female judges too. Hello, you could have had me or Brittany, who lived in barbecue country, St. Louis and Kansas City, right, with the ribs, be a judge. But no, it was all the bros. Like, why was that?
Well, RBG's dead, so I guess we don't have. It's all over.
We got to make our own.
We got to start all over from the beginning, I guess.
But this will be a saga, and it will grow, and you will triumph in the end.
I might win one time,
as you should.
I might win one time,
as you should.
If they do like a cake or something.
Listen,
cookies.
I will bake like a. I can bake like a son of a bitch. Follow directions, sure, I can do that.
Sure. We do have some ladies in here, which Rihanna.
Do we? Yes.
Rihanna. I'm sorry. I always say it wrong. I always think that I'm like, because she was like, don't say it like the singer.
Rihanna.
And so every time I think that, I say it the wrong way, right?
Rihanna, yeah.
You say like, don't curse. And you curse.
It's the same, yeah.
Because you're thinking about it so much.
Thinking about it, yep.
Julia and all the guys. Thank you guys. Nico, Richard, Greg. Rihanna gave us $2. Yes, ladies reunited, she said. Thank you.
Money?
Yeah, you give us a little super, you boost your post.
Dang.
I read it. Just so you guys know, I'm very shallow. I read every one that someone gives me money for.
Oh, I would too.
I'm not going to discriminate.
No.
You give me money, I'm going to read it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Listen, money talks, man. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
There we go.
And bullshit walks.
Well, you and I have a fun little topic today.
We do.
That we've talked about before, actually.
And this is what's so good about us hanging out is because we'll like go out, have some wine, have some dinner, and then like we have an epiphany. When we're together, we get like our material.
We do. Well, we just talk about life and shit and normal things.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, we've talked about this before and your mind has changed or you've seen the light or whatever.
Right. Because we did shows on certain things back in the day. And then we grow and we live and we
find out that you're right and I'm wrong.
Look, not every time. Not every time.
I only know what I know.
Right.
It feels like sometimes. Or people only know what they know.
Same. And same with me.
And once you start experiencing more or you may be holding on to like the last straw of it, you're like, no, I really think. So in this instance, I really thought that guys and girls could truly be really good friends. Right.
Yes.
It was like holding on to like one of the last friends.
Yes.
Of that. I've seen throughout the years. And you know how like sometimes you just don't ever want to truly admit to?
Yeah.
Like in your head, you're like, I know I have a drinking issue, but I don't want to admit it because once I do, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or
then
like,
you have to think
I understand
of
there's this problem in life, but I don't really want to admit it because the minute I admit it, then,
totally
I'm going to be exposed to it all and see the light.
Yes.
And this is maybe how it was.
You're opening up a door that you don't want to open
it was
up.
Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Of just like, God damn, okay, well, all these dudes were never friends. They just always wanted something more.
Right.
And so what we've realized and what we've come to the conclusion is I truly believe that guys and girls cannot be good friends.
Yes.
Like just friends.
Yes.
Without boundaries and lines being crossed. Yes. Without it somehow turning into something sexual that anyone, any other boyfriends or spouses would see and consider inappropriate.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And even Giorgio mentioned this before. He goes, with the whole emotional cheating, if you start becoming dependent on your guy friend and telling them stuff about your relationship and really start going to them because you're not getting it from your relationship, because that's what we do sometimes with friendships, right?
Yeah.
It's very different when it's a girl and a girl, though, versus a guy and a girl, because all of a sudden we're starting to kind of replace the person that we're with this other person, and it's kind of starts to become emotional cheating in a way, right? Like you don't go to your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend anymore because you don't feel understood. So who do you go to? Your friend.
I even saw this. It works sort of as well with a gay best friend. Mm-hmm. So like Kristen Cavallari, for example, right? That left Jay. She was hanging out with her best friend is this gay hairdresser guy, and he goes with them everywhere, family vacations, at her house all the time. They're together all the time, talking about life, talking through stuff, emotionally there for each other, best friends, hugging. They get the physical contact, the emotional contact. And I would venture to say that had some kind of issue, because if you're talking to someone else about something that you should be talking to me about all the time, it's going to be a problem.
You're going to be disconnected from your spouse, your significant other.
Absolutely.
Because you're giving what you should give to them, just like you said, to someone else.
Yes.
And so what we've seen, right, and even friendships, normal like guy, even girl friendships can still come in between relationships.
Oh, for sure.
Right? But what we're saying is we've seen, and I've seen, that eventually it's just like, okay, it seems that either the girl is going to somehow get more feelings for the guy than she should and really become dependent on this person, or the guy is going to. Or drinking happens, people get flirty, lines are crossed, you know? I feel like there's always one person in a guy-girl friendship that likes the other person more and is just secretly hiding it.
Yes.
That's what I've seen throughout the years.
Yes.
Right?
And I think in that first episode that we did about it, I was like, I just don't, in my experience, in my small knowledge of human beings and how they act and how they feel and things that happen in relationships, I said, I just don't believe. And in my relationship, we just don't have good friends that are of the opposite sex. We just don't.
Yeah.
And you were like, look, I work with a bunch of guys. I sleep in tents with guys. I have to change in front of them. That is my life. So I have had to be platonic and in professional relationships, you know what I mean? Relationships with guys my whole career.
But that's different though. Like I can still be acquaintances with them and work with them and everything.
Right.
But to be like good friends with them and let them know like intimate details of my life and like us hang out like we're friends and like go out and do shit. If I did have that, it always turned into years later, maybe it was, 10 years later or something down the line, that all of a sudden two people are drunk and the guy's like, Tiffany, I've loved you this whole time, but I just never told you because I didn't want to ruin our friendship. And it was like, what?
Yeah.
When you thought things were good. And then what you start doing is backtracking and going, well, shit, there was this night that seemed a little different and off. And then did he only do this because he liked me? And you start kind of overanalyzing things and you think to yourself, like, did they only do this because they liked me? I thought we were good friends.
I miss feeling that way because it was such an innocent time where like I did believe that I was friends with guys and that there was nothing else. So once I saw past that and after I figured that out or things happened where I was just like, well, that's just the way it is. That's the way life is. We can't be good friends. We can't be best friends. We can't be in a relationship and then have a best friend that's another. Once I saw that, it was kind of sad because I think of every relationship under that microscope now in that lens. So it would never get to a point where someone would get drunk enough to tell me that because I'm already have my wall up as far as like try and be more professional than usual, try and be very respectful in text. If I have to text someone that has a wife, a girlfriend or whatever, like I just try and go above and beyond so that because I know how quickly with yourself or with them or whatever, how quickly it can kind of turn into a funny back and forth, a relationship.
We talked about this before when it comes to guys and even sometimes just responding to them, just talking to a guy back. Sometimes they take it the wrong way. They take it in this flirty way when you're just responding. However, there are times where we think we're being funny and we're being flirty. We're being downright crossing the line flirty. 100%. If anyone else would see this. Okay, so we want to bring it up in the Broette group?
Oh, sure.
So there was this girl, right? And I would pull it up, but she actually deleted the post because
she got sure she
too
was
much hounded by all the girls.
Shit.
So she wrote in the group and said like, hey ladies, this is like a really old guy friend of mine, like who tends sometimes to be over flirtatious with me. I figured you guys would get a good laugh at me trolling him. Enjoy. And then she put like a little caveat in there, like he's not married. He just gets like over flirtatious sometimes. We've been really good friends for a while. So you start reading the text message and she's immediately like flirty with him, right? So she's talking about whatever his height. And then she goes, I had no idea you were that tall. And he's like, yeah, get on your knees and like look up and you can see how tall I am, right? And she was like, why would I be on my knees? What would I see there? And he's like, tell me what you would see, right? He's like trying to get, like talk about my dick.
Right.
To her. And she was like, well, the only thing I'd be looking for is like wine or bourbon. And you can tell this guy is trying to get this girl to tell him what she would do to his dick.
Sure.
Right? So the whole time he's like, yeah, but like, what would you do though if you were down there? You know what I mean? And he was like, stop. And he basically told her like, stop fucking around. And she was like, listen, someone's got to keep you in line. You're wifed up.
Right.
And he goes, true, you're right. But you're the one who started this. So let's finish it. And so he goes, so tell me, what would you do if you were down at that level? And she starts kind of like joking back and forth with him. Like, well, I would do what I normally do in grocery stores, which is like get the hottest guy to help me with something off the shelf if it's too high to reach or something. He was like, come on. He's like, tell me, he's like, just really quick, tell me what you would do if you were down there at that level. And then after that, I'll make this, stop me while we're ahead. So basically he wanted to like get to the point. And I guess he had a boner. Like later on, he told her like, I had a boner and you just ruined it. So thanks a lot. Like I can't do anything about it now. And they just kind of went back and forth flirting. And so all the girls in the Broette group were like, fuck no, dude. This is number one. That's not trolling.
That's honeypot.
That's flirting.
That's honey dicking. Yeah.
That's 100% honey dicking.
Yeah.
And number two,
you're setting a trap and then you're getting pissed at a guy but again.
But here's the thing. So here's what's funny to me, right? You have a girl who's like, we're just friends. You obviously have a guy who's might not be married according to the writer of this post, but obviously he's in a serious relationship because she said you're wifed up and he said, correct, you're right. Mm-hmm. And he knew he shouldn't be doing it, but he kept trying to push to see what he can get away with when it came to flirting. And like, can you imagine if she said like, oh, this is what I would do to your dick? Like how much more the conversation would have gone as friends with him being in a committed relationship? So they're both pushing the line there. And do you see what I mean now? But they're old good friends.
They're old good friends.
Totally normal, right?
Totally normal.
Because if his significant other or wife would have seen that, pissed off, probably would have ruined the relationship, probably would have had trust issues. I don't want you talking to this girl anymore. I thought you guys said you were friends and you guys are now crossing lines.
Yeah.
Right?
What I liked in the group is that everyone was pissed about it.
Everyone in the group said, what the fuck? You shouldn't be doing this.
Because I think she thought that people were going to be like, oh yeah, fuck that guy. Like you've exposed what it is. And everyone was kind of like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel right.
No.
You're honey dicking, you're trolling, and you're trying to get you know what I mean? And now it's
this is
out
flirting.
there.
If I was his girlfriend, I would be pissed.
Right.
So many people are like, I would never stand for this in my relationship, this type of
it's not funny. No. It's not like showing a text thread.
No.
This is like,
if I saw my husband had a thread with a girl at all with this and him like trying to get her to like talk about sexual things that she should do to him as a joke, I'd be like, that is not fucking funny. Number one. Number two, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to either set boundaries or it's going to be, you don't have to worry about me anymore because you can talk to her all you want.
Yeah, 100%.
If this is what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it would probably be like, we're just friends. We just like joke around like that.
That's bullshit.
No.
Because guess what? If the tables were turned and I'm talking to some dude about like, so what would you do if you just happened to like find me with my legs open and you were like right there between my crotch?
Oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable.
Do you see what I mean? Can you imagine if I had a conversation like that with a guy?
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
What would happen if you like saw me in a room tied up and my legs were spread wide open? What would you do to me? Just tell me.
And the guy's trying to be like, oh, nothing. I mean, I'd go to the grocery store. I'd get a girl to help me and just trying to like not really engage.
I would be like cute about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I'd like try to untie you, but I can't. I'm really kind of suck at knots. So I guess I would just, it's like, yeah, but tell me what you do. Can you imagine if Chris found that? He'd be like, what the fuck, Tiffany?
But nothing really, you didn't actually say it, right?
But this is, what happens? This is where it starts. And then when you start giving it excuses, this is where it goes down this terrible it's like just a snowball effect.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden it's like, listen, we're just joking. Like, this is our banter. Oh, you guys have sexual banter back and forth?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what friends do. Me and my girlfriends don't flirt with each other in sexual ways like this.
No.
My girlfriend's not asking me what I would do sexually to her.
No.
Ever.
No.
Because friends don't do that.
No, and we don't even really talk about like any even sexual stuff. Sometimes,
but do you see what I mean though?
But it's not like, yeah.
Once you start getting into the sexual talk of like what you would do to one another, not just like normal sex stuff, guys and girls, that's why to me, it's just like, this makes sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
And then
why
also,
guys and girls can't be friends.
It can't be friends. And also we were talking about going back to the emotional cheating and like, there's a level of intimacy that it's intangible. You can't really find where that line is. But for example, like you were saying like talking to a guy friend about your marriage or talking to a girlfriend about your wife that's pissing you off or nagging you. Like that to me is that's a line because now you're being a level of intimacy. Or if you guys know, you start talking about things that are from your past or things that are very important to you, that's a level of intimacy that it's hard to remain unattracted. If you like somebody, if they're your good friend, in some ways you are attracted to them.
Sure.
Right? Sexually, physically, intimate,
whatever.
You know, like
emotionally,
whatever.
There's something that attracts you, to that person.
So it's impossible. Because with any friendship, guys and girls, there is an attraction. There has to be a thing where you're like, I want to hang out with them. Or else you don't, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and it doesn't have to be physical. It's just an attraction. And then intimacy is such a weird thing that you can't really put your finger on. Therefore, we just have to not.
Your most intimate relationship should be with your spouse, right?
Yes.
Is what you should have. So even when it comes to my parents or my girlfriends, and obviously not guy friends, but I mean, I have shared once or twice with a guy friend, like, hey, Chris and I are going through this, like, tell me from a dude perspective, like what you think.
Right.
Like a one-time thing. But even Chris was like, hey, I totally understand why you did that, but let's not anymore.
Let's not.
And I totally respect that
if
he was doing that with a girlfriend. But it gets to the point to where you have to be very careful of what you're saying about your spouse to these people. You know, like if you keep venting to your friends and going to them for these things and you're not fixing it with your spouse, you're disconnecting with your spouse and you're becoming more intimate with this person no matter what, right? So you're transferring that balance, that energy that you should have with your spouse and putting it into them to someone else. And you want to be careful too. Like you and your spouse are the only people, your significant other, the only people who know your relationship the most intimately, right? Like you guys know the ins and outs of it. Everyone else is just an outsider. They can only give perspective opinion. They don't know the whole story, right? They only know what you tell them. So a lot of times too, people can get a very different perspective and point of view of your significant other when you're telling them shit, right? And all of a sudden now this friend of yours might hate them for the one thing that they told them. Yeah. Right? Some people don't look at the whole story of some things. And so that can cause some disdain in your friends and your family to make it harder on you and your spouse's relationship too. And imagine if you have a guy friend who actually secretly likes you, and all of a sudden here's a few things about
a crack in your relationship.
And then they now try to expose it and make it worse and say more things. And right? That's when things happen too. And when you start feeling disconnected and alone from your spouse, guess what you do? You go to the next, like, oh, hey, guy friend, you're here for me too. And that's where issues happen.
Yeah.
You know?
And so this has happened a couple times. I just want the record to show. Pilot Pete from The Bachelor, from day one, I thought he was a flat-footed piece of shit.
He is.
And Tiffany was like, he's cute and nice, which
I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
You're right. In the beginning, he absolutely was. He turned out to be the worst bachelor of all time.
I didn't want to just judge him.
The most ridiculous person.
Based upon what everyone else said.
That's my job.
Right? I was like, I'm going to give him.
No problem. Yeah.
I'm going to give him time.
Yeah.
And he was awful. And I fucking hated him.
He was the worst. And then, time number 2 is when we thought we could be friends, best friends.
Yeah.
With people of the opposite sex, and we just can't. Mm-mm. And it's a sad day. And it's one of those things like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. You know what I mean?
It's like, what, the Easter bunnies?
It's a sad day in growing up when you have to realize, like, fuck.
Yeah.
Elves are not real.
No, they're not.
Dreams don't come true.
Yeah. The tooth fairy just is...
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't follow your dreams. Yeah. Get a job that's stable. Even if you
hate
your life.
Be the bottom, like, just don't follow your fucking dreams.
Just don't follow your dreams because they will not happen. And most of the time, you're just going to be poor. and unhappy. Very few times it works out.
True.
So
might as well not even try.
Find something stable, whether you hate it or not. Work hard at it and try and have some fun after work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're not so tired, because it is going to be hard work that you hate. And so you might be very depressed.
Yeah, you're working a 9 to 5 at something you don't like, underpaid.
You might be very depressed, so the fun might be drinking and stuff, but I just want to be real.
Sure.
And that's what I'm all about.
Well, Jessie, let me say something that you want to hear. You're right, Jessie Wiseman.
Thank you.
Jessie Blue Wiseman, you are right.
Thank you.
She was right, folks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But all jokes aside, in that conversation, though, my mind was opened up to the fact that, like, there are girls in the military that, like, have to be very close with guys.
We are,
in a
but
way
it's professionally, though.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, I've noticed that it's professionally.
It's
and then
different.
The minute that it's, like, friends, and I thought we were just always good friends, and that's all it was to me. Later on down the line, it turned out to be like, hey, I actually have always thought of you more. I never want to ruin things, right?
Sure.
And these are, like... And I'm not just talking about like surface level acquaintance bullshit. I'm talking about like, dude, you guys hung out all the time. You guys always did things, talked about everything in life, relationships, whatever.
Right.
Friendship.
Right.
So you just, you live and you learn.
Right.
Right? That's
this is the point where I have to say something to Giorgio. Giorgio, I know we've been friends, but I've always...
Oh.
I knew it when you sent me that dude in the text message. When you called me dude, I saw
you
right
were
through
like,
it.
Oh, like, she loves me.
That's so unprofessional for you to call him dude.
I know. I can't believe I called him dude. Should have been like, sir, can you please? Danny K. Danny, girl fan, $5. We missed your face, Tiff, and so did I.
Thank you.
So great to have you actually here. It's just so different.
I know. It feels...
It's a different vibe.
It is different vibe in person, right?
Yes.
Like I'm looking at you now. I'm like, dude, she's here in the flesh. Not just like sitting on my bed with my fucking Zoom microphone, just like talking to the wall.
Right.
With listening to you.
I'm in the office in my house, just hoping the kids are sleeping.
Sneaking.
Just a different vibe.
Wine.
Yeah, yeah. We're even going to do a later show today that we can like drink a little bit. It's going to be so awesome. Craig, I think you got off already, but he gave us some money.
Thanks,
ladies. Craig. Gave us a wave. Homer can too. I don't know what that means, but thank you for your comment. Craig is out of here. Tiffer's moved to Austin.
You know what?
Look.
You guys all got to help me convince the husband too, right?
Ooh.
He's got 3 years until he might possibly retire.
Right.
He's a chief warrant in special forces. They're moving him to specialized teams out there. He doesn't want to ruin his last 3 years of his career, like moving to something. Yeah.
Right.
So we're trying. Believe me, we're trying.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things too where maybe if he has a year left and he can't move down there, maybe I can move down here first and get settled in, and then he'll join me, because people do that all the time. So we're trying, believe me.
Don't worry, guys. We are in her ear.
I know.
We are
Nonstop.
trying to work it out. Nonstop. She's like, she won't shut up about it. But anyways, we can always have like these fun little get-togethers, whatever. We are trying to on Wednesday to have a Broettes meetup. So we'll get a lot of stuff done in the time that you're here. So it'll be good.
We will.
It'll be good and fun.
On Wednesday, we're doing an interview with Noelle Best. We're also getting Heather Lynn on as well.
Fan favorite.
Yeah, super fan favorite. And they might even, depending, come with us to the meetup. So we'll see what's going on. But if you guys do have anyone else that you guys want us to interview here in Austin, let us know. We would love to get it today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow when we can.
Yeah.
Before I leave. And if not, we have other trips that we can do too.
Yeah.
You guys, So it makes it easy.
Life is long. Some people say it's short.
It's both.
This fucking life is going on forever.
Really? For you? I feel like it's getting so much quicker as I get older.
Really? Oh, it's fucking long. I just think like,
I guess it depends. There's days. We have long days. No joke. I flash back to high school, like math class. I think it was algebra or something. And I remember sitting there.
And that felt like close, like not that, like a flash of an eye ago? Or a long time ago? No, I'm just saying,
like, I just remember in that moment talking to my girlfriend and be like, everything's going so fucking slow. I just want things to speed up. Like, I felt like it was like molasses. Life was. Yeah. And now when I think about it, I'm like, dude, everything's happened so goddamn fast.
Really?
Like, how? To me.
It's so long.
Jessie, this is, you know what?
Such a long life.
I need to come
But that's what I tell people when they're like feeling sad or depressed or something. I go, life is so long, dude. Like, you're not going to feel this. Nothing lasts.
That doesn't help.
Even if it's good, even if it's bad. I mean, I hate to do it when something's good happening to someone. I hate to be like, hey, this isn't going to last. But it's true. But it does work when something is bad or you're going through a bad time or depressed. You could be like, dude, life is so long.
It is. This will last when you think about it to be
when you look back on this moment.
In your past. That's it.
And again, that's not even going to last.
No, correct.
When things get better and you feel better, that won't last.
I know. Everything just...
It'll go right back to
does.
it. And back and forth. And this is a realism episode. Sorry about that.
This is a real...
It's not very uplifting. I'm very sorry. That girl texted me last night. Very late.
Okay, so listen to this. So Jessie and I are eating dinner at this nice place, right? And we have this couple, like this group in front of us. It's like a young girl, young 20s. It's her sister's boyfriend sitting there with her and a gay couple. And they're all like younger and they're hip and they're having a good time. They're drinking. Yeah. The girl's like really drunk and she finds this guy's wallet on the ground. She's drinking and being a little obnoxious, which I can feel because I'm kind of like that too. Well, sure. And she was like, oh my God, like trying to figure out where to give the guy his wallet.
And she like tried to give it to a busboy,
and the busboy couldn't even speak English.
Again, probably not the person.
To the waitress, like give it to her.
You had good intentions, but no great follow-through.
Yeah, she's going through the dude's wallet trying to figure out who the guy is. Sure. She finally gives it to the front desk, and then she sees the dude, and she's like, "Hey, your wallet!" And then he says, "Thank you." Like he's really appreciative. He's like, "Thank you so much." And then she starts giving him shit, saying, "I should have gone in there for money. You should owe me money because I saved your wallet." Like. Yeah. You're not even going to buy me a drink. You're not even going to buy me my dinner.
It was like sort of a joking thing, like where we were like, oh yeah, like, well, I would never say that, but she was like, well, you could pay me. You can give me money as a joke. But like,
it was a truthful joke. Like she was being 100% real, joking.
But then she also didn't let it go.
No.
So the guy was walking away like, oh, haha.
The guy walked away.
And then he kept walking away and she kept going, I mean, you can buy me a drink at least. And then the guys were like, well, you buy us a drink. And so the guy came back with $5 and was like,
no, he gave her 26. He gave her
like,
20
here you
and 5
go.
and a 1.
And kind of seemed like a little pissed about it. And she was like, no, I was totally joking. And he goes, well, if you're going to say it, that's what he said. If you're going to say it, then here you go. Like you would not shut up about it. So here's your money.
And so I'm watching this all go down and I look at Jessie's face and Jessie's like, oh. And she says,
so annoyed, dude. I was so annoyed. I know.
The minute she goes to say something under her breath, the girl looks at us and was like, what? I would have like, and Jessie was like joking, like, oh yeah, I totally would have asked her the money too. Like,
right?
Making her feel better. And then she was like, oh, these girls want to interact with me.
Yeah.
Which was like first mistake. Sure. Jessie, you just don't do that.
You were doing really well with that. Like you were just like not engaging.
Because I knew that she was drunk and that she was immediately going to think that we were all friends now.
Sure.
And she did.
Really did. I mean,
you opened up the floodgates of a drunken girl.
Girls, I love you. I'm one of you. But we're very predictable in certain situations, right? Like if I had a certain level of drinks and another girl was engaging with me, I would hang out with her that night probably. Do you know what I mean? Like we would be friends in the bathroom.
Well, she's a little bit younger too, right?
Right. So then she was like, hey guys.
Situations as well as some older people. And when you are drunk and you're being friendly.
Sure. And she actually wasn't like she wasn't as annoying as you could be.
No, she was still sweet. So
she was sweet.
They all turned around and they looked at us both, which by the way, I don't think we look quite as young as they thought we did.
Oh,
or anything.
I was looking at them like they're tiny babies. I'm an old mom drinking rosé.
We were just like
behind you, like that's
two
exactly.
Older women just like hung over, like just talking about things. Like we
totally
were having fun and whatever. And they were like, "Do you guys want to come hang out at this rooftop bar with us later on?" And they were telling us all the hip areas in town. And then she comes up to us, gets our phone number, starts talking to us about paddleboarding and like hiking. She goes to Jessie. She goes, "Do you like going hiking?" And Jessie's like, "No."
I said no. I wanted to be honest with her.
No.
I don't like hiking. I don't know why people keep wanting.
And she's like, "Let's go." And I'm like, "Well, I don't live here." She's
yeah.
Like, oh.
I'm like that. I mean, that's your girl. I definitely won't. And then she was like, "There's this cove that you can go to on a like paddleboard, and it's Drinkin Cove." And I was like, "Now I'll be there."
She's like, "Drinkin Cove, and they give you all the free drinks when you get there." Like,
now I will meet you there.
Strangers are handing you drinks.
Yes.
But anyway,
that is more my speed.
Yeah.
Tiffany will go on a big long hike with you. Whatever. I will be waiting for you guys both in the Drinkin Cove that I could park literally right next to it. Right. And then she was like, I totally changed my tune because I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like, then I was like, this person thinks I'm like young and cool.
I know. We all thought we both were like.
Then I was like not being bitchy or anything. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, they're not going to text. Like, there's no way. But that was very sweet. We weren't going
to text either.
Yeah. But I was like, that was very sweet. That was very nice. But like, I'm not going to get a text. And
you're young and hip. Did she text you?
She texted me at 10 o'clock at night. She thinks I'm that hip that I can actually meet her on a Sunday.
At 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock.
Part of me wanted to ask her what she does for a job because all she kept talking about was exploring. And part of me is like, when do you work?
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're 23, 24,
she likes to travel.
Yeah.
That's what it is, travel.
I actually did hear one of the guys be like, well, you said something about her trust fund. And 100% that is her. Still very sweet, a little bit out of touch. Really needs some kind of connection because she probably was like
I should have noticed that because she had a Coach bag and
a little dog.
The little dog they actually put on a chair with them. Like actually had a seat at the table.
Yeah.
With them, and I was like, oh.
Because before the Coach bag had the chair, and the dog was on the ground, and then
priorities.
Well, you don't want that on the ground, right? Dirty ground. But then we switched and put the dog up there with the purse. That was very nice. But I definitely went. It was a roller coaster.
It was a roller coaster
of like this fucking girl. Oh my God, blah blah blah. And then I was like, oh my God, she thinks I can hang out with her. Like, yeah. But you know, again,
we were like leaving at like 8:30.
Oh yeah.
And we were joking about texting her and being like, hey, we gotta get our old asses to bed.
Right. Let me just put my kids to sleep and I'll meet you at the rooftop. Like, she'd be like, okay. So it felt good. It ended up feeling good.
Yeah. When she did guess our age, though, it was a little bit.
I do not like when people do this.
You told her how old you were, and she goes, "Oh my God, I would have guessed that you were 28."
And I was like,
Jesse's like, that didn't seem as realistic of a guess.
Right. At least be a little bit more realistic. If you are going to say like, "Oh my gosh, you look great."
Yeah.
I would have thought you were. You know what I mean?
You don't even have to say an age. You can just say you look fucking great.
You look great. Oh, I would have thought you were fucking 19. You liar.
Do you get offended if someone says, you look amazing, I hope I look like you when I'm your age? Is that offensive?
I don't really.
Because you had about 12 years on her, maybe?
Yeah.
Over a decade?
Yeah.
So like, when you think about that, I take that personally as a compliment. When someone says, like, when all those girls at one night were like, oh my God, I hope I look like you when I'm your age. Like, part of me was like, I'm really, like, the way that sounds is like, listen, I'm not on my fucking deathbed, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm like, okay, I appreciate that because let's not take offense to it, right?
I think I definitely do take offense to that. Now that you're saying it, I've definitely been in those situations where I know it's meant as a compliment, but I think young people say things sometimes that like they really do mean as a compliment. Like you look you look great. I can't, or wow, I hope I, look like you when I'm your age. But it already puts you puts you in a box.
Like
and
some age category.
And I don't like to do that. I would much rather it be like, oh, I don't even know. Like I have a friend that's like, I think she just turned 30, but we like never talk about age or any, it's like we get along, we're really good friends, and like we just don't talk about that.
Well, you and I don't talk about age. Like I didn't even know yours the other day. I thought you were, just a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
But I just don't care. It's not a thing that I feel like older people ask. It's a younger people thing, if that makes sense.
Yes. Like once you get to a certain age, you're like, what?
Whatever. You asked me if I was 40 you thought I was 40
that's right.
At the party.
Who thought you were 40?
Tiffany.
I did not think you were fucking 40. First of all, Jessie and I talked about this the other day, and James and you, first of all, they were talking about their age, right? Like the guys brought up like, oh yeah, my age this. And I said,
definitely didn't bring that up.
I said, how old are you? I said, how old are you? And then the guys both went, guess my age.
Guess my age.
And I'm like, who the fuck does that? Girls do that. Not guys, but both guys did that. So to be safe, I sat there and I was like 26. Right? For both of them, I was like 26.
I know I did hear from both of them that you said 26.
Yeah,
I was like, that's her go-to.
It is my go-to.
You should have a go-to age of just like.
That'll be my go-to because I knew that like if they were in like, I knew they couldn't be older than me possibly. Yeah. So I think that's why I said 26. And then Giorgio was like higher. And I was like, what? I was like 35. And he was like higher. And I was like, what? And I believed him because Giorgio, I feel like, is a very honest, authentic person, but I guess not.
No, he's not.
And
he'll
then
go for the
he was
joke.
40. I was like, 40?
He'll go for the joke, yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, dude. Like, he must have gotten some, like, work done. Like,
right.
good on you. I'm not going to.
Right?
Me and Ray Cash have been friends for a long time.
We get that good. We get that good. Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm going to get some, too. Talk to
We're gonna
Dan
go to
about it.
Colombia. We're all going to take a Drinkin Bros trip. All get those stem cells.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's just go backwards. But, yeah, there is also a thing that goes along with it. People, like, when people meet, I see it a lot on, like, award shows or when people are, like, on talk shows and they meet someone that is, like, an idol of theirs or an actress or something. And they're like, I grew up watching you. And all of a sudden I go, if I was them right then, I would feel like, oh you're so young that you grew up watching me. And because we still kind of think, like, I don't think about it. And it does kind of put me in a weird, because then I go, oh, I am old, right? But I don't feel that way. And I interact with everyone and I feel like I can hang out with anyone.
Age is just a age is a number.
Age is a number, and I have one that I don't like. But it is a number, and sometimes it's high.
But I will say, like, what you've said, like, oh, I grew up watching you. I've accidentally done that, like, unintentionally done it before. Like, I know guys that will be like, yeah, I joined the military in '86. And I was like, I was born that year.
I don't think it's that bad with guys.
Right?
I would think.
And then they'll be like, yeah, that was a while ago.
Right.
To me, I'm like, dang, okay, I was born
right.
And to me, I was like, I didn't think you were as old as I guess you are in my head. Yeah. Try not to say it as much out loud because you don't want to offend people.
Right.
So.
But I always think that because I know that actor that got all that work done and is like, has a leather jacket on and is trying to act young, like wanted that person to be like, oh my gosh, I love you.
Yeah.
Not, I grew up watching you and you're so old that I was a baby when do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what I think. But I think you only think that when you get older.
Yeah.
Young people don't think about that shit. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, or 20s or whatever, early 20s, you're not thinking that would offend somebody. You're thinking that would be like a compliment.
But think about it too, like when you were younger, you always thought that a certain age was really old. So like in your young 20s, when someone was close to 40, you were like, fuck, like that's old. When in reality, so like, who was it? I think so my stepdaughter Gracie, I think it was her that I was having this conversation with. She was talking about ages and stuff. And I asked her, I was like, what do you consider old? And she was like, I don't know, she named off something. Let's say 43, right?
Yeah.
That was her number.
Yeah.
And I said, no. I said, you never call someone that age old. I was like, you know what old is? And she was like, what? I was like, 85 and above. That's old. And she was like, okay. So I was trying to teach her, and this is such a good thing to teach kids, right? So from now on, if she hears anyone from like 85 and under, she's never going to call them old.
Right.
Right? She's just like, oh. So I'm like, I'm going to teach you that. It's going to help you later on in life. You know? So
yeah.
I was like 85 and older. That's old.
Yeah.
But everyone else, they're young still.
No, you don't say old. And then I think I thought 35. I remember that being an age where I'm like, if you don't have it together by then.
Yeah. I think people do that though. People do it with
35.
Kids. People do it with jobs. They do it with life. They do it with marriage. Like, 35 is like, actually,
I don't
that was
know
a
why.
thing when we were younger. I had guy friends who would be like, hey, Tiffany, if we're not married by the time we're 30 or 35, it was one of those ages, then we'll just get married.
I think that's because that's when your body starts breaking down, deteriorating. All your hair falls out. Your metabolism goes down. I think that's the hill, right?
You're just not as
35, 40. That's the hill.
That's when you
start to go down.
Yeah.
Before that, you can be going up.
Maybe
that's what it is.
When you start the drugs, not start down the hill. Start the drugs.
When do you start the drugs, though? 30s?
I think I'm already past it. It's from what Dr. Frank was saying. So I think 25 is probably when you start that.
Oh, okay. So you're hopeless.
Are you talking about hormone?
Oh, okay.
Hormone drugs?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So maybe I can like
all the stuff. Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
It's all right though. Giorgio needs to be a little bit more of a daddy, right? We don't need you looking any younger.
Wait.
Like a little. He needs like a little bit of age on him.
Okay. Are you talking about like daddy who has kids, daddy, or like daddy?
Like daddy. Like a little salt and pepper.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of age on you.
Yeah.
Like if that beard.
I mean, you're going for the look right now. You're doing pretty good with the scruff and everything. So I think you're fine. So yeah.
That's the shitty thing about guys. You can be like, gray hair is going to be great on you. It's going to make you look better.
I've seen women with full gray head of hair, and I think it looks beautiful on them. Fucking beautiful.
Not if it's long, though.
You don't think so? I think it looks
scary
great when it's long.
Yeah.
To me, I do. Because you traditionally see like the short, curly, permed haircut all the time. So when you see something
short
long,
and curlies, yeah,
locks, and the thing is too is like what that gray storm color looking hair color, like the gray silver is in or was in. So now when you got used to seeing that more, you're like, okay,
yeah.
Do we want to hit out this update or?
Oh yeah, so we have an update from a previous advice segment, which as you know we like to do, and then we're gonna do an advice in person in the flesh.
We sure are.
And a broette, right?
Yeah, an awesome broette.
Let's do it, guys.
So the update that we have is we have this, just like it's not really small. She wrote a lot. So I'll just kind of paraphrase it. But this was from one of our broette listeners who had issues with her husband and his sex drive, right? She was like pulling out all the stops. She was trying everything and anything.
He would make excuses. It was to the point where our initial reaction was, does he need hormone replacement? Like, this is just not natural for someone to never, ever want to do anything.
And she even started to blame herself, too.
Right.
Was like, I think he likes thicker girls. Yeah. I don't think he likes me because I've lost this weight. And we were like, please don't do that to yourself. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we all tend to do that, is blame ourselves. But, like, let's talk with him. I also brought up, too, like, I didn't know if this was the case, but maybe he has some type of sexual trauma. Like, I don't know. But some people have, the way they were raised or what they saw, like,
what we were trying to say was it's not completely normal and it's not you.
Correct.
Was the main thing we wanted to say.
And talk to him about it.
Talk to him and it's not you. Don't start getting super insecure or anything because there's something else going on.
Yeah. So she did say the frequency of sex has not increased yet. I don't expect it to happen until this baby pops out in November. She goes, I also have not felt the moment was right so far to kind of question him about sexual trauma. But, however, we did finally have a date night, which included a very long car ride and some weed on his part, and him just in the right mood to have this conversation with me again. So through this conversation, she was able to pull out of him some more specific reason as to why he won't get down and dirty with me, aside from the fact that he claims that he's always been very vanilla in bed, which I totally believe. Basically, he started explaining to me that he looks at me and thinks of me about being this, he puts me on a pedestal above all these other women. To him, I'm superior to everyone else. I'm his favorite person. He loves me more than anything that he's ever loved any other woman in his life. And he doesn't consciously think about how he doesn't want to get, a little freaky with me. It's more like when we're headed in the sexual direction, for him, it feels apparently wrong. To me, she goes, to me, this kind of makes sense. He has had trauma. And then she goes into, I don't believe it's maybe a sexual trauma, but I'm not sure yet. I don't think he was abused or anything. But I know that when he was 8, his mom left his dad, and his dad raised him all alone, right? Because she was addicted to drugs and she didn't come back into his life and yada, yada, yada. So she goes, so basically he has serious mommy issues. And she goes, and I know that because ever since the sex has slowed down, he's been a lot more needy in a nurturing way. He wants to be cuddled. He wants to be taken care of. He, in very small, subtle ways, doesn't mind being treated like a child, is what she's noticing. Mm-hmm. And she goes, it does drive me crazy, and there's some other things that I can mention too. I also think that is why he's struggling, and I guess she also has like an 8-year-old little girl. With also being pregnant, he feels like he might not be getting a lot of the attention in the way he needs it. Mm-hmm. So basically, that's what she thinks, that they're kind of over, like, in this right now. She thinks he might have some type of trauma brain a little bit with his past, and that's causing him to have some sexual issues with him. Maybe she has taken the mother position in his life, or he's trying to put her in that.
And then he doesn't, but I think along with that, if she's taken the mother role, he's not attracted to her then. Right?
I don't know.
That's a very slippery.
I've not been in a relationship with this
slope, yeah.
before, right? Where if someone is trying, Like, you know how like they talk about girls sometimes and they have daddy issues and they didn't have a dad present in their life. Women will tend to go for like older men that are around their dad's age and they look for that in validation. Like some people even thought Erica from the Real Housewives, right? Like she'll talk about it a little bit. Like, I had daddy issues. I need I need the validation of older men.
Yeah. Love her.
It's different though. Like when you were able to admit it and realize those things, I don't know if he's at that moment yet where he's sitting there consciously being like, okay, I do have mother issues and I'm noticing what I'm doing with you, but I also need to make sure that we're still being, like, I do find you attractive, but I need to make sure I'm not putting you on this mother pedestal and keep you in the wife pedestal, like, area. So basically what she said is, we've definitely talked about it. We're both going to try things. He's going to step out of his box some, communicate more, and I'm going to try and stop overthinking everything and stop trying to talk about, you know, this so much with him because the constant conversation puts a lot of pressure on him, apparently. And when it comes to performance time, he supposedly psychs himself out with worrying about it. And she goes, I don't want that to be the case. So anyways, she goes, again, I'm sorry, I'm super wordy. This is a lot. I love you guys so much. And the whole Broette community, all the best. So that's just like the quick update.
Yeah.
You know, she could have waited and gave us like something like 100%. Like, hey, we fixed it. We talked.
But anyway, she's working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it.
They're talking. They're getting a little bit to the root of it. I think it's something more, but I like that they're actually at least communicating.
They're getting to this, they're at the start of it.
Yes. They're at the beginning of the journey and that sounds like it might be a pretty long one.
And it might be. And that's something that when you get married and you make that vow, it's like, we're going on this together. Yeah. We talked about the baggage, you know, people bring in and like, that's something you sit there and go, okay, this is now our baggage together and we're going to work through this because I fucking love you. And okay, so if you have these issues, let's work through it together. Right?
Right.
This is not a case. This is, you don't just, oh, you got problems? Well, let's fucking leave. That's not how it fucking works.
For sure.
So that's good that things are heading on a path of, you know, changing for both of them.
Yeah.
So proud of it.
Proud of them too. The communication is the best part of this whole update.
Yeah. Even the start of it.
The actual just talking about it.
Yeah, I agree. So that's good. So we'll get into the advice segment now.
Okay.
So this is from a man fan.
All right.
First of all, so he just says, first, I hope you guys are both doing well. Thank you guys so much for the great podcast. I was curious if I can get some advice. So I was dating a girl for a couple of months that lives on the property that I work security at. Okay. So he also lives on the site too.
Okay.
We had a mutual breakup due to her having a lot on her plate and apparently me working so much that really didn't have to do anything besides just like, apparently we just hung out at my place all the time. We tried being friends and all, and I did my best to not flirt with her or anything. Well, we had gone a couple weeks with not talking after we ended the relationship, and we ended up having sex. And she regretted it. So I reached out to her a couple weeks later asking if we could just be friends. And she goes, and while we were talking and having this conversation and catching up, I had mentioned to her that, you know, the guy she's with is a lucky dude, referencing apparently she seems to be dating again. I wasn't trying to come off crazy or stalkerish or anything. You know, he's like, where the job's at, I'm security on the property, so I've noticed she was with this dude, right? And I guess that she freaked out on him, and she thinks that I'm targeting her or the guy she's talking to. He goes, listen, I bent the rules for her and the guy just so that, you know, they can go hang out together, and so she doesn't have to come see me face to face, like for parking passes and stuff, because that would make it awkward.
Yeah.
Right? He goes, this morning I woke up to see that she had swiped right on me on Bumble, and now I'm a bit confused because she had called, you know, for a parking pass for the guy that she was seeing literally 5 days earlier, but now she's showing up on Bumble swiping on me. So like he was the one trying to be friends before, and she was like not about it, right?
Right.
And he goes, well, I obviously still care about her because she is, you know, like a sweetheart and everything. But when she had messaged me, she asked if we could be friends. So now I'm fucking confused. I don't know what to think. And he goes, I still really care about her. She has one hell of a work ethic. She's never been afraid to speak what's on her mind. And I still want to be there for her as someone who, you know, she can come to no matter what. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like the feelings might get in the way that I have for her. It just confuses me how she's on Bumble after, you know, when she's seeing some other dude and asking to be friends despite her history and the whole like flipping out on me, telling me that she never wants to hear from me again. I know it's a lot, but I just don't know what to do or think right now.
Right.
Yeah, I know you have something to say. Let me hear it.
So, I know you're confused, but it's quite simple. This is messy. It's real messy. And no, you're not going to be the person that she comes to for stuff and talks to you about dating. That's messy. Why would you want to do that to yourself?
I know you put yourself in the front. You like her, and now you're putting yourself purposely in the friend zone to be tortured by this girl that you like just to be friends with her.
Right. And it just doesn't work that way. And if she's single, you guys can maybe be friends and talk.
They've already been intimate. They're not just going to be friends.
They're not going to be friends, but you could at least maybe have interactions. But as soon as she is with someone else, that will not work.
You could be here's the thing. I think people have different ideas and definitions of friendship, right?
Right.
So to me, like, friends is like hanging out all the time, like doing things together, going places, talking about your relationships, talking about life and things, right?
What you guys need to be is
acquaintances.
Cordial.
Correct.
Nice to each other because you work in proximity.
Be respectful. Like, hey, how's it going?
But that has to be it for your own sanity. And again, she seems a little bit messy and confused herself. You actually seem like you know what you want. You know what you want a little bit more. She doesn't.
But you're also willing. But he's also willing to backburner what he wants to just be friends with her.
No, I actually think he wants to be with her. And
I
he
do
thinks
too.
that this is the way to go about it.
But what I'm saying is I think he's convincing himself, right?
That he just wants to be there for her and he cares for her and he wants her to be happy. That's not real. That's not how it works. Like you never want your ex to like just be happy. I just love him so much.
Especially
I
if you
just
still want to be with
him.
him. Here's the thing. He wants to be with her.
Yes.
So I feel like what he's convincing himself in his head is he's sitting there going, okay, well, since I can't have her, the closest thing I can get to her is being a friend. So I guess I'll just take that. And maybe, just maybe, her and the guy break up and then she comes back and likes me and all these things stop. We're living on a dream right now.
And I told you earlier, do not follow your dreams. Yeah. But the other thing is that text that you sent about...
He's a lucky guy.
Yeah, he's a lucky guy. That was a little passive aggressive. I'm fine with it. I'm not giving you shit for it. I would have probably done the same thing, but I would have to be honest with myself that I sent it so that she would know that I know that she's with someone, and that's a little weird, and it's a little passive aggressive, and it will put people, girls, whatever, on edge a little bit. So I'm just telling you that's why she blew up on you for that particular text.
Well, I'll be honest. If I did date a guy and then no longer did, and we didn't talk for a while, and then all of a sudden he like messaged me like he's a lucky dude.
He's a lucky dude.
I'd be like, how the fuck do you know? This is kind of weird. I know we are in the same property, but like, why are you paying attention? I would think it's a little strange.
Right. And again, I'm not bashing you, man, fan. No. We love you. You actually, like I said, seem like you are in a place to be in a relationship and you actually do know what you want. So
he said that she flipped out on him, and because I think we haven't talked for about 2 or 3 months. So I think.
And the first text that you sent was
because I work on the property. Dude. Yeah. So I've done my best to keep distancing from her, and I guess she's seen out of her, I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah. I've been in this exact situation. And again, like when you're single, if you guys are both single, it's possible to talk and be cordial and be nice. But as soon as one of you gets into another relationship, it gets messy again. So really the best thing for you, since you're the one writing in and you're the one wanting advice, I would say you probably need to just cut off everything.
Correct.
Again, be cordial. You're going to do your job. Don't make her job harder. Don't make your job harder. But as far as like being there for her or bending rules for her and her guy, don't do any of that.
Nope.
Don't do any of that. Just don't send her texts about her guy. Like don't. For a while. Again, I don't know what's going to happen. Life is long, like I said. You don't know down the line what may be able to happen with you guys when she kind of figures out what the fuck she wants, and maybe you're over it or you're with someone else that you really love, and maybe you guys can talk sometimes, but probably shouldn't, right?
I agree.
Probably shouldn't. Okay.
But
I'm just saying, like, you never know.
A picture of, her saying in the Bumble text, "Can we be friends?" So there's either two ways to go about this. You just say, listen, I respect you, but I obviously we can't be friends. Like, I still like you, and I just don't think it's going to work out that way. Just tell her the fucking truth. Like, I like you. It's not going to work out that way. I thought it could, but it can't. And I do wish you the best. And we can just respect each other. I'm not going to make it
weird, but I just don't think that we should interact.
So you could be just 100% honest with her about that, or you can go the other route and just not respond to her and just leave her the fuck alone.
And we're actually okay with that.
Yeah, because that's not ghosting.
It's not ghosting.
Because you're not in a relationship. You're just, it's already ended. You're just, there's just no communication. There's no reason to.
Yeah.
And it's not being rude. It's just setting boundaries.
And it will be hard. It'll be a little bit sad, and it'll be hard to see her and all of this. But as usual, probably the best.
You're protecting yourself. You're protecting your heart.
Yeah, as usual, probably just cut off whatever you can cut off and move forward.
And the thing is too, is like, this will give you the opportunity to move on and find someone else and find someone better for you. If you're to try to remain friends with her with the hope in the back of your mind of keep trying, like, you're not going to put yourself out there. You're not going to be fully making yourself emotionally available for someone else. You're literally putting your life on hold for someone who doesn't give a shit about being with you.
Yeah.
And you're wasting your time.
You need to close that door for sure.
So close the chapter. It's just better that way.
And we feel for you. And it sounds like, again, you're ready for a relationship. You're in a place that you kind of know what you want. Mm-hmm. You don't want to confuse people. You sound like a nice guy. So we really wish you the best. You can give us an update, but we really want the update to be, I've blocked her. I don't talk to her anymore.
Because we want the best for you. Because we know this is the best for you.
Sure.
That's why.
Sure.
You know, if we wanted to just be pushed over, be like, yeah, go for it. It's great. Or whatever. But no, we don't think that's going to be good for you at all.
Right.
So
we're not necessarily on the messy, confusing girls side in this.
We're done with the games. We're past that.
Done with games.
Yeah. Believe us.
We're equal.
When we've been there before. We played our stupid games. We wasted time with guys that we shouldn't have given the time of day because of stuff like this. Like, or guys have done this before.
Yeah.
Just learn.
We're equal opportunity advice givers.
We are.
We're not always going to be on the girl side or the guy side.
Correct.
We're going to be on the side of justice.
Justice. I was wondering what you were going
to say. I couldn't think of what
I was wondering what you were going to say because I was going to try to predict it.
We're going to be on the side of, and then we say it together.
Justice.
Yeah. Justice.
So we do wish you the best.
Yes.
You definitely deserve someone who knows what they want, which is you.
And thank you for writing in. Thank you for sending advice. That's brave in itself, and we wish you the best for sure.
What I always will tell someone at the end of the day, you want to be with someone who wants to be with you.
Right.
Who's pursuing you, who's choosing you. You're the forefront. We all deserve that.
Right.
So wait for that.
And if they have a little money, good.
That
even
helps.
better, right?
Yeah.
Even better.
That really helps. But
really helps.
Yeah.
We also have a Broette.
Dude, I love this one. Yeah. So we have an awesome Broette of the Week nomination from Chris. Chris was like, hey, you crazy awesome women, did a shout out for my girlfriend Tanya on episode 42. Well, this time around, I want to submit my ex-wife, Kat. That's right, my ex-wife. He goes, this lady is amazing. I have 3 kiddos with my favorite ex-wife. Actually, she's my only ex-wife for the record. And she is the best mother anyone could hope for. She's remarried and has a few kids and bonus kids with her new husband, who, like me, is also a cop in North Texas. He's a great man, and I'm glad he is such a positive influence on our blended family. This big tit energy broad runs the Brady Bunch and puts up with 2 police officers in her life. She went out to dinner with my current girlfriend and has made an effort to make her part of this big, weird family. Kat is my best friend in the world, and I love her to death. I couldn't ask for a better partner in crime with raising our hooligans. She is 100% my broette for life and deserves whatever recognition she could get. I love you, Kat. Cheers.
Oh my God.
Right?
I have like chills.
I know, I do too. Here's the thing. When 2 people can put their differences aside and still love and respect each other for their family and make things work, and their significant others do the same thing for their kids and they raise them in the right thing, they put their bullshit aside and forgive, this is beautiful here, right? The fact that he respects her, the fact that they are friends, they both are in relationships and one of them is married. Like, this is how you can still maybe be like cordial and friends, right?
Yeah.
When you have
and
kids
this is
together.
The hardest situation to be in. So to be able to go above and beyond and actually thrive in this situation and make it so that your ex-husband is actually nominating you for Broette, you've done something right.
You have.
And that is exactly the energy. Your parents are still together. Mm-hmm. Mine divorced when I was like 13ish, 14, still cannot really be in a room together in a real
some can't
chill way 20 whatever years later, like, you know, and it's hard. Yeah. And so when I hear stories like this, or when I see people doing this in this very graceful, amazing way, Jared and Katie, like it's kind of amazing to me. And because I've lived with it for that long, it seems so impossible.
It does.
So for you to be able to do this is like impossible to me.
So many toxic situations of the ex-spouse and whatever, and causing issues or keeping the kids away from the mom or kids away from the dad, and they let the bitterness get a hold of them, to where when you hear something like this, you're like, this is how it should be, but you feel like you don't hear it as often. And that's why when you do see Katie and Jarrett, you're like, dude, you guys promote such a healthy, respectful, thriving environment for these kids to see that their parents don't have to be together, but they can be able to be respectful, loving people, and each have relationships outside of each other. And that's healthy.
I'd work on the chicken poop, but other than that, like, they really do have it.
But they promote an environment of love and respect, just like these people are here too. And what this shows is that you don't have to, just because you're not married, you know, you don't have to, you might not be perfect together for marriage, but you can still be perfect to have a life together to make it the best for your kids. They put the kids forefront, and that's what truly matters. And I think I love it.
And her going out with the girlfriend, I mean, that's a step farther than you need to do. And she did that. So you're right. She is a broette. Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's the broette right there.
She's like, dude, I know this girl's important in your life. Maybe she might last, maybe she won't, but it's not my business.
She's going to be hanging out with my kids,
she's going to be hanging out with my kids, and I want to have a good relationship with her.
Yes.
Right? The toxic is like, fuck her. She's not going to be around my kids.
Not even going to talk to her.
Yeah, I bet she's not even going to hang around too much.
Be passive aggressive.
Yeah, like, you're not going to see your kids around here anymore. Like, that is toxic. This is beautiful. I told this guy, I was like, listen, I cannot wait to share this with everyone, because this right here is what everyone should strive to have. Right?
I love this.
So do I. So, Kat, you fucking rock, woman.
You fucking rock. You're a broette.
BTE and broette. That's for damn sure.
You're doing it. You're really doing it. Well, I mean, first show in Austin, down. So much fun. We had so many comments.
The next one.
Yeah. We definitely need to drink on the next one and really get loose. I don't think we're going live, so sorry, guys, but you'll hear it, see it and hear it at some point. So thank you so much for listening. Again, if we were going to recap, don't follow your dreams. Find someone with money.
Yeah.
You can't be friends. Guys and girls cannot be friends. Mm-mm. You can be in professional relationships together. You can be cordial. You can hang out. You can have a relationship. Mm-hmm. You just have to really, really go above and beyond and be respectful. But we love you guys.
We do.
We will see you soon.
You guys have Broettes nominations?
Oh, yes.
Hit us up on our Drinkin Broettes podcast Facebook page or Instagram page. We love nominations like this. So this is amazing. So please highlight the amazing women in your community and your lives. Also, advice. We have a lot of advice built up for the next month
and we're going to get to it.
We're always getting to it, and we love hearing from you guys in the updates. So please keep bringing them in. Send us all the advice.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.